What's good, beautiful people? Welcome to the B3ST Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best, and I have my co-host for Queen's Court, which is what we're recapping today, James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel.
Hey,
Hello,
hey, y'all.
In the description of this video, you guys, we do have a link to James's channel. Click it. It'll take you there. Subscribe. We do a lot of recaps together in terms of television shows and things of that nature. So be sure to check out both channels. Support both people. Just do it. But we're here to go over episode 3 of Queen's Court titled PECK-TACULAR. This episode for me, like I watched it because I have to be here, but I wasn't the most intrigued by it. I just wasn't. So I'm gonna just jump right on into it.
It was like, to me, okay, I'm gonna keep it real before y'all. It made me look at these three. They couldn't be any more different from each other, and they don't fit the premise. Like Evelyn, Nivea, and who was the other one?
Tamar.
Those three are eccentric. All three of them. So they make sense. These three don't. And I think that's why.
I agree. I don't take K. Michelle seriously. No. And I feel like Lisa Ray did this for a check with she was open to find a connection, it seems, but I think she more so led with the check. That's the motivation. But yeah, it's K. Michelle for me to start it off personally. And Delicious.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it's Delicious doesn't match these women at all, but in terms of like age and being known for a while and the fact that she's newly divorced, fine, I get that. But K. Michelle, I just do not take her seriously in, her quest for love. One minute she want to be with someone, the next minute she on marriage boot camp with someone none of us knew she had, that then she's focused on her career. I don't take K. Michelle dating seriously on TV, but that's me.
I was going to say, I felt like it was more so Delicious that didn't fit in with Lisa Ray and K. Michelle. Because to me, her vibe is I didn't realize she was so thirsty. I didn't realize that until I started watching this show. I was like, damn, Delicious, really?
Well, we met Delicious on Flavor of Love originally. And unless you were in Detroit when she was working on the radio stations or just following her heavy, all we know about Delicious is on Flavor of Love. She appeared to be secure and all of this stuff. But looking back, because I've been rewatching some of it, I don't think she was the most secure. I think we're seeing the difference between her actually being interested in boys versus dating a roach.
Oh, that's a good point to bring up, because I was like, I don't remember her being like this. I was like, am I tripping? And I feel like Lisa Ray
and putting over Flavor Flav.
I'm not going there. No.
I'm just saying he's not the most attractive man.
But here's the thing. I feel like, because I know I know that shit wasn't real. But if you actually put that in context of like, if they really were fighting over this man, it was like, oh yeah, you got a point.
Delicious was also the one in the house that didn't really fight with the other women until New York came on that season. New York came, yeah. And then when she did lose her marbles, is because New York said some stuff about her mama, which was like unnecessary. But yeah, I never felt like we got to see her on Flavor of Love. I felt like more so we just got to see the booty. But I agree with you. Also, she does kind of throw the dynamic off. And I think that drastic change from how we saw her before to how we see her now feeds into that. But let's start the episode, y'all, so we can get the hell on. Because it drove me insane how slow it was. So 5 more men are introduced. They introduced these new 5 men through a talent show. Holly Robinson Peete is fluent in French, for those who did not know. Her children's books, she prints them in French, I believe, as well as English. So that is cool. I don't think we really need hosts on a show like this. That's just my opinion. Maybe for like reunions.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe the reunion. For me, it's given they were trying to be the black Nick Lachey and Vanessa Manillo kind of
Yeah,
situation,
I
and
agree.
I don't like neither one of them, so it's kind of like, hmm?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, we don't. Holly Robinson Pete and her husband were both legends at one point, and in their
yeah.
prime, they had massive careers. They've done so much, especially Holly Robinson Pete within the Black community, but they time and prime is kind of, and I don't think of them when I think of older couples that should be leading other people to love. I just don't, but I'll take it. But Nosh is one of the guys who performs at the talent show. He's 44 and an engineer, which tells me he was very focused to be 44 and an engineer. But he wrote a song about himself in African. He was on key and it did sound good, but he spoke to me when he spoke like after they did their little performances and spoke to the ladies, he sounded extremely unsure of himself. And I could not help but think when looking at Nosh, like, oh, here we go, another bald one. All they collected this season was a bunch of anemic looking, great value branded Tamar's ex Jeremy, the white boys, and bald black men. That's all they seem to have been able to find for this season. So I was looking at Nosh like, you're cool, but you kind of just blend in. How did you feel about him and his little song?
I didn't. I was like, okay. I really because it was kind of like it was corny, and it was like, really, okay.
Mm,
I,
listen,
I to me, and I need them to get better scouts. Like,
yeah,
I want to know who their casting director is for that segment to recruit the men. I feel like they're just taking any. Oh, you walked in the door, you're hired. You're hired, and it's like
it shouldn't be that
I'm
easy.
like, no, that's not what we need to be doing. I feel like, and I know this is going to be kind of crazy, but I feel like they need a gay man to cast. I do, and the reason why I say that is because they would get it right. They would, as far as straight men and appealing to this, because I just was like,
I mean, they could do a Queen's Court, keep the show name the same, and do some gay queens and do that version of it because I feel like that would also be slightly more entertaining. I'm sorry. One thing I will give to the gays and the LGBTQ community when it comes to television, even off television, when it comes to entertainment, even just going out in public, they are a good time to watch.
they'll be able to see through the bullshit. That's why I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Hmm.
The this is But we then move on to Wisdom, who's 34. I don't know who Wisdom is going to be with on this cast. K. Michelle is well over 34. Delicious is well over 34. We know Leisha Way is over 34. I believe her daughter is 34. So
Hmm.
I I'm like, okay, Wisdom, you're a little young, but he came on TV and he made his titties move. That's probably why it's called Spectacular. But to me, when he did it, it gave very feminine. I don't know how to explain it. When he did that, I was not turned on. Like, there's a way to do it where it can be attractive, and then there's a way to do it where you might look like you fly for the team that uses the same bathroom as you, which is fine. But that's what Wisdom gave me a little bit. I could understand it. Uh, this is the man, y'all, who did a flip. He fixed himself, mustered up the courage to do some sort of a front back flip. He busted his ass. Now, he played it off well, but I have a DVR. I must have slowed that thing down, paused it. He busted his whole ass. He was just zesty. So that's what I'm gonna say on Wisdom. Do you want to add anything about Wisdom?
No, I thought the flip was funny as well, and also to me, I kind of feel like he's one. I'm prematurely diagnosing this with him based on what happens later, but he gives me mama issues for some reason. I don't know why.
Because he took off his shirt and was making his titties wink, and we didn't
It
need
was
that.
just that. It was something else that he said. I think you'll get to it. That I was like, okay, you went on the show, older women. You give an usher, yeah, you have mama issues.
Yeah, because all these women are much older than him. Which nothing's
Yeah.
wrong with dating older people,
No,
but
no,
there's a
no, no, no.
difference when
Yeah.
you end up with someone who just so happens to be far away in age from you versus you having issues and unintentionally choosing.
Yes, I feel like for me, when I say mama issues, I'm not saying like all men who date older women are looking for their mama. That's not what I'm talking about. Because there are emotionally mature men who do seek out older women for the wisdom thing, for the mindset, and who aren't naturally intimidated by those women who they seek and they get that are older. But for me, looking at him and based on later conversation, I kind of felt like he was giving me something is like really missing here, and he gives me a little immature too. So that's why I was like, I don't know.
He's definitely immature. Moving on
Mhm.
along, you guys. Be sure to like the video if you haven't already. It is an easy and free way to support the channel. I appreciate anybody who does, including our replay gang who watches when we're no longer live. Whoever my new subscribers are, because for whatever reason I was unable to see it. Usually it tells me, but I was unable to see it. Thank you and welcome to the channel. Let's continue on into Charles. Charles is 54. And he did a spoken word about his mama, which to me was a red flag. Please don't come to
Mhm.
me talking about your mama and your daddy and your best aunties and grandmas. I really don't give a damn about your family until I've gotten to know if I give a damn about you first. I know that some people bond over family, and I get that, but I'm just like, all you could think about was to write a spoken word poem about your mama. You could have wrote a poem on the beauty of Black women or done something deep. But Lisa Ray was impressed because she lost her mom recently. I do think that Charles's age and all of that could make him a good candidate to date her because they don't have very many options, in my opinion, on this show for Lisa Ray. However, I feel like her interest in him stems off of a trauma bond. She just lost her mom. It's very fresh. So you hear him talk about that. And of course, you're attracted to someone who cares about the parent they still have.
And I think
So
it was the breakdown of like what he was saying, and it resonated with her. I think because that's probably how she feels about her mom too, in a sense. So maybe that could be also what attracted. But to me, I was looking at the age thing and his look, his aesthetic. I was like, that's what she needs. Him right there.
I agree. I agree. I agree. Uh Moving along, y'all. We go shift through these men's. We then get Kenny. He's 49. He does stand-up comedy, but he made a bunch of jokes about himself, which weren't funny, in my opinion. I was just looking at him. But I got a little cringe worthy. I felt the cringe moment when he was like, Delicious got him, or Diamond, the character that Lisa Ray played in the Players Club. Talk about got me through some lonely nights. It's a little like creepy, but okay. How'd you feel about Kenny? Anything you want to add?
I hate when people use that reference of Diamond and all because yeah, she was beautiful. Diamond was sexy, but I watched the Players Club in like a different perspective now that I'm grown. I watch it and I always say Ronnie was the breakout star, even though what she did in the movie was fucked up to the core. But when you think of the actress who played the part, she was much more like of a ambiance than Diamond was. So I kind of was like, that was cringe. I think you were just doing that because she was the most recognizable one out of all of the three women. And it's like you couldn't be more thirstier. Sorry.
That's how I felt it.
Yeah,
Listen, Delicious kind of looked at it as good, so he knows I'm or not Delicious.
it was
Lisa Ray was
yeah.
looking at it like, okay, this is a good thing. But to me, I'm like, that movie is over 30 years old now. Okay, it's a cool movie, but Lisa, I think
It's
Graham.
kind of like it makes me feel like looking at that movie now, it feels like you're typecasted minus the stripper part.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
how I look at that movie because you are exactly that lady in that movie. You played that to a T. So yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was weird. I feel like most people know that she played Diamond, especially African American people. But that's just me. Moving on, y'all. Zeus, who's 36, he does storytelling, which I enjoyed, and he performed a little bit with drumsticks. His story was basically about him, his experience in school, and he actually ended up motivating the women a little bit. They were impressed with him, so I'll give him that. He did do well in storytelling in my opinion, though, because this is a dating show, that could be a really good thing or that could be a big red flag. Because if you that good at storytelling regularly, I need to see how good you are at telling stories when we are romantically involved and emotional and stuff. How good of a liar are you, Zeus? I don't know why I had that energy, but that's what I got from him. But I did like him and I enjoyed his story. He's very talented. How about you?
He reminds me of me.
Well, that's
He reminds
good.
he reminds me of me when I was smiling the entire time looking at him because I was like, that is me. I am a great storyteller. Great. I'm an author. This is what I do. But a lot of the times you can't really tell the real from the fake with me unless you ask. I will tell you it's fake or I will tell you it's real. And then do what you will. If you feel offended, fine. If you don't, it's supposed to do what it's supposed to do, which is make you feel good in the moment, regardless if it's real or not.
That is what a story's supposed to do. And if I
That's what it's
don't feel
supposed to
good,
do.
I'm not reading it.
Yes.
That's how it
I
should
would
be.
say people like me, you take serious as a pinch of salt. Everybody's pinch is different. So you just got to take it like that. That's how I usually say people's approach to me is. So that's what I got from Zeus. That's why I was like, you reminds me of me. This is me, y'all. This is exactly me. Now, his actions later on may not align with me because I don't think I would do half the shit he does. But at the same time, I recognize a lot of my same characteristics in him. So I actually smiled when I looked at him because it was funny.
Apologies too for the background. You may be hearing SWV after 7, the whispers. My husband is in the other room jamming, but he's putting the couch together, so I'm allowing him to do whatever he needs to do to get through that process because I'm not trying to do that stuff, y'all. Keeping it moving. The Everybody performs. These are the 5 new men that we got, and the ladies are then going to choose who they want to go on a date with based on the performances from these men in this little raggedy talent show. Now, Delicious, aka London, ends up choosing Zeus, which I think no one was surprised about.
Nope.
Look at that. So we gonna keep moving. K Michelle chose Nosh. I was not surprised about that. I mean, she was on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, where half the cast is allowing they men to cheat because they got men in Africa allegedly, and I'm quoting James on that. So I'm not surprised she gives that she would choose him. And Lisa Ray chose Kenny Rogers, the 49-year-old who did stand up, which threw me off because I thought she would choose Charles.
Um, You know what? I think honestly, she went based on attraction with this one. I think that's how she's doing this. I really do. I think she's going solely based on attraction. She's feeling delicious as
You
God.
have to. I think attraction is an important part of dating, especially
Hmm.
if you have to. If you're dating to marry, attraction is important because it's easier in the marriage if you're both attracted to each other. I can say that from experience, but I also feel like people focus too much on attraction when looking to date people. And I
Right.
know James has told us his story of his friend and all of that who married someone just for attraction, and
Yeah.
that worked for them, but that is extremely unrealistic and rare. So it's like
It is.
realistically, people got to find a way to balance. Like there is a way to balance what you want, but also not just focus on material
I
things.
think I think there's like I think when people have sensibility of like it being a sensual thing of attraction because you're doing it in an abrasion of sex, like that's realistically why, because you know that that's going to teeter something in you. And I think that that's why people do that. Always solely focus on attraction and get to know the things later. See, what I do is you have to make it like a scavenger hunt. Let attraction be the way you walk in, but look at all the other actions that can guide you either inside or make sure you go out the back door because you realize everything you come across is not what it seems to be and you need an exit plan. That's how you have to
Yeah,
look at it.
that's a good way to explain it. It's definitely a good way to explain it. But Lisa Ray, I agree with you. I do think that's what she's doing because a lot of people she connects with or who would be better for her just on where they're at in life. She's not choosing, but she does choose some attractive men. So
She does, and that's one of the things I noticed in the last couple of the first episode and the second episode. It was like she was realistically moving with her attraction because I think, if I'm not mistaken, she when they did the dance, when they were tied up and they had blindfolded and they were trying to go, she went with the one who had like the voice and like the accent and stuff like that guy. And I was like, okay, so you really are going based on what you were attracted to. You're not really going on based on characteristics yet, at least yet. I'm not gonna say she has it, but what I'm saying at face value, at first appearance, she's going with her attraction first, which isn't bad, but make sure you look at other things too.
I agree. I agree. So now that the ladies have chosen their dates, what happens next is they're going to do their little mingle before the elimination dinner, or not before the elimination dinner, but to choose the other date that they're going to go on with all the men. Now, Delicious chooses to go on a second date with Tracy, and she gives Chris, aka the asshole, the guy she's been calling an asshole, another date. Listen, I don't understand why she keeps giving Chris a chance, and this is probably why she ends up in relationships that don't last. Listen to your initial gut. Delicious, aka London, has been on our TV screen saying she doesn't know about Chris. She's dated guys like Chris. It hasn't worked out. She wants to be fair. Like, listen to your gut. You have showed so much concern and moments for pause with this man. Yet you continue to ask him on a date when you could be getting to know somebody who doesn't make your women's intuition and gut go off for the negative. Like, I don't understand it, but that's what she chose. K Michelle asked Ben on a second date. K Michelle is clearly going for money or just here to be here, because I'm nothing wrong with Ben. I think nothing's wrong with dating outside your race or any of that. I just don't see no type of connection between the two
I don't
personally.
eat. I don't either. And I'm gonna say it like this: I don't even think it's that. I think she wants someone she can control.
Yep.
I really do. I
Yep.
think she wants someone that she can control, and I think that she goes outside of her race specifically. That she's more inclined to have that control and power versus getting somebody her own race and feeling like because she didn't have it in past experiences, she won't have it in the next experience. And you shouldn't be in a relationship where you would want to control somebody in the first place, because then that turns into them resenting you somewhere down that line. And then you end up having a problem. So I don't understand what her logic is, but that's what I'm pointing out. That's what I'm seeing as what she's choosing. And it's so weird. It's like,
Yeah, because her second choice was Andre, who has similarities to her in terms of him being from the country part of the South, aka Memphis, where she says she's from. But she says that she felt he was disingenuous in the previous episode, and like everything that he said was pre-rehearsed. So I understand her giving him a second chance, but if I sense that someone's disingenuous, I'm done. But that's just the way I am at my big age.
well, see, because especially if we're looking at the controlled environment of what they're in, there are numerous other men in this option. It wasn't like you just had these two and you have to give him a second chance because you just need to eliminate the one. You have a slew of other men you can give chances to. So
Yeah.
it's, yeah, her logic is weird. Like in regular everyday life, fine, I can understand what she's saying. But in today's time, you gonna give a second chance to someone you felt was disingenuous. It was like, man, you could literally say, nope, not you. Somebody
Right.
else can fill your spot. It's like it's
Right.
weird.
It doesn't make sense. And then she was talking to Nosh, who was the other date that she chose, and he was talking about he is not looking for love. When she asked him if he was looking for love, he did not say yes. He said he wants a connection. I got, and I'm not stupid, so I can understand what he was trying to say, but either you're looking for love or you're not. Either you're looking for love or you're not, because it like I don't get it. The connection isn't that the love. So I feel like he was trying to avoid some stuff and like he BSing and he just want to be on TV. But that's just my opinion. Lisa Ray is going to go on another date, you guys, with Booker, who I think is good for her. Um, but what Booker did, which surprised me, they were chatting and everything was going well, and then another man like walked up to try and interact with Lisa Ray, and Booker politely excused himself. To me, I was like, okay, that's kind of sexy. That's good. Be confident, but also show that you like me and will claim me. But I need you to also like have confidence in your ability to keep me. And him like, I'm gonna allow you to have time with the other women. He's like, I'm not gonna do the mess. I'm not gonna fight. I'm gonna let that happen. So I thought that was cool. But she also asked Charles on a date, as well as Kenny, who gave her a book about himself. And I know James gonna have something to say. And he called the book Turkey Bacon. I felt like as soon as he did that, he was trying to promote his book on the show. I'm not mad at you, because it's really hard being an independent artist of any sort, authors, musicians, like they work 10 times harder to get their content out there when they are not already famous or already with a heavy following. So I'm not mad at you for that, but then at the same time, it's like, dang, dude, could you at least waited till the girl liked you or not before sharing your book on the show? Just saying.
I agree with you, and that's what I was gonna say. It was like, well, you could have at least waited until maybe an episode or two in, or maybe a 2 or 3 days there, and just read her a chapter. That way, it's doing exactly what you wanted to do. You're promoting your book. You're reading this section, so we, the audience, are interested, and then it gets you sales because now everybody's going to go to Amazon to go buy it. So it would have been a perfect segue, and I felt like, to me, that would be disingenuous because you're not here for love. You're here to promote the book. Because me, if I'm going on the show for love, business has to take a side because I'm here for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to find love if I feel the situation is real. So I kind of felt like, yeah, I felt the same way. I was like, you
Yeah,
couldn't have
it was
waited
weird.
if you were going to do this. If you couldn't have waited. Now, it's one thing if she said, well, what do you do for your career? And he says he's an author. Oh, well, do you bring your book? I would love for you to read a chapter to me. Like, because she's that kind of person. So it's kind of
It was weird.
like, because she loves art. She does. And so I was like, oh, she would have gave you that chance had you just played your cards right.
Yep.
Dang.
But she was in a rush.
Mm-hmm.
Russian, which is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. Uh let's keep it moving, y'all. So when the ladies are mingling and all of this, here comes Zach's creepy ass. And at this point, that's what he's given. And he comes to bother K Michelle, even though she is now not interested in him. She has made this very clear, even though I don't agree with her and think that she's often the one that could bring the toxicity into her relationship originally. She made it clear she don't want you no more. You supposed to be interested in somebody else. So why are you coming back up to this woman asking her if she is angry, Zach? But at the same time, she did try to send him home. So why do you care? In my opinion, because I'm not going to go over what they discussed word for word because it was stupid. They both give toxic, and K Michelle is unrealistic. Part of what makes being in a relationship with somebody else that is meant to be monogamous special is that you are fighting the lust that you have for other people. You're not giving in. You can't go and hunch every person you see on the planet who is attractive or anything like that. Like that's part of the test of being in a relationship faithfulness. And that comes through lusting for other people and then, choosing to be faithful and all of that. So K Michelle saying, I want my man to only have eyes for me. Yes, your man should only have eyes for you. He should only have hands for you too. But at the same time, men especially are very visual creatures. I don't care if they're gay men or straight men, whatever, for those who need stuff separated and all of that. Men are extremely visual. This is a fact of psychology. Okay? So it's like just because they look don't mean they're going to touch all the time. And it seems like K Michelle does not want them to even look. So her and Zach, to me, I don't get it. I don't care. Uh, did you have anything to add?
No, because I felt like that was stupid of him to do.
Yep.
And it just comes off like, I don't know if you desperate for her or desperate to be on the show as long as you can. I don't know. It's giving you desperate to be on this show. If I had to take a guess,
Likely, he tried to make sure one of these bitches keep him. That's what
yeah.
it's getting.
And it's like, okay, well then that just ruins the authenticity of you if that's the case because we're here for love, aren't we? We're here to find love. And that doesn't mean you assert your dominance because you know you have to play a part because there are 30 other men. So why? I don't know. I just, you're right about him being creepy, but at the same time, he gives a really good passive aggressiveness to him. So it makes me wonder, and I'm just being a conspiracy theorist. This is allegedly, this is not, it makes me wonder about that wife. It makes me wonder.
And she's passed on, so we can't even go to her
Yeah,
for references. Hell, we can't. We can't even go to her. How are we supposed to know she's passed on? I also don't like how he mentioned that his kids were of Black and or African descent is what I will say. That's still a red flag for me because why do we care? If your kids came from you, you wouldn't feel the need to say, oh yeah, my kids are white and from America. But you feel the need to tell us that they are adopted Black and not from here.
Yeah, every move that he makes is given that you there on another recording. So you're not here to really be here, because you wouldn't feel the need to mention none of that, and you wouldn't feel the need to move the way you move it. So it's really weird. Like I don't understand. That's what I said. I don't understand Rodney and Holly Robinson Pete's mission
Role.
here and
Yeah.
their role, because y'all are supposed to see through this and look at this. Us, the viewers, shouldn't have to see it, recap it, for y'all to not to see it and remove it once you see it, because there's plenty of other men.
I feel like Bravo was trying to take the concept of Married at First Sight and like Love is Blind and kind of conjoin the two,
Right.
along with like some throwback dating reality shows. It seems like they were trying to create something great, which this show is great, but like I wish there was someone kind of like on other dating shows where you see like therapists or relationship experts. I wish there was someone here to like dig into them and really interact with them while they interact with others that they're trying to date. But oh, he agreed. He agreed, y'all. He agreed. Be sure again, friendly reminder, James's link to his channel is in the description of this video. It is there. It is clickable. Literally, just click it. It will take you right there, and subscribe. You can also check out his books on Amazon. Now, we move on from all of that, and then we see David trying to spit a rap or spoken word. He was trying to do something, and he does this with Lisa Ray, and I just felt like she's not going to just fall for this, bro. You're going to have to do a little bit more. And then while that's happening, we see Zach go to interrupt somebody else who's chatting with Delicious, and he interrupts Delicious to then tell her he and K. Michelle are a no-go. I thought this was already established, and that just supports James's claim that this man may be on this show just trying to be on TV and get himself out there, because y'all been a no-go since like prior to today. So why are you just like, what is going on? And Delicious dumbass is just impressed. He didn't have to tell me that, so I really respect him for it. I don't know, I just like him. I'm like, oh my god. He gets a date with Delicious. He said, I'm getting me a date somewhere. Delicious gave him a date.
It's like, of course, like Delicious, this whole you being like delusional and, you know, like it, like what's the word I'm looking for where you're absent in the brain? Like, hello, is anyone there?
Nobody's home. She's Motel 6 in her head.
Right.
I'm just like, really? But okay, sure. K. Michelle has her dates. We get to the dates, y'all, because I can't with London, Delicious, Chandra. I just can't. Now, K. Michelle has her dates, and Nosh is unable to make the date due to him having a presentation. He said, I got another job and a previous engagement. I can't get here. So we see, I'm just in my head. I'm like, it's the first date. So I'm like, what the hell? And so she's questioning his priorities. You don't know what you want, K. Michelle. You don't want a man that's broken. Now you got one that's not broken, got a job that he prioritized, which he should. And you mad. That doesn't tell you.
You need to be understanding, because that means he's not going to come after your coin.
And until he knows you or knows which one of you he wants for real, he don't owe you nothing. So
he's like, look, rent due, the car payment due, the insurance is due. This check ain't gonna cover all that. So
and he told y'all he told y'all he was Nigerian. Let me tell you something about us Africans. We gonna get our money. Okay? If you ain't family or the bag, as they call it, we'll take our time.
I had a friend who went on a reality TV show, like, and it was funny, 2 months before he did it, one of our other friends told him to put money aside because you're going to be out of work when you get off the show. And he listened. He did. He listened. So when he got off the show, because they were gone 3 weeks, when he got off the show, he literally had $37 after he paid all of his bills for being gone. So he said, imagine if I had not listened, and I would have been homeless.
Oh, so
yeah.
That's stressful as hell. Say nope. Now, for this date with K. Michelle, they're going to be making perfume. I do not like these dates. I feel like a date is not just about a woman. We need to get out of that. It's two people in a relationship. Do something you will both like. Making perfume when she knows she just gonna go out and buy the Chanel No. 5 don't make sense. But uh whoever makes the best perfume of the men, the one that smells the best to K Michelle, is the person who's going to win a one-on-one date with her. And in this case, it was Andre. So Andre wins the date, and I actually think they needed the date since she says she felt like everything he said was rehearsed. They go on a date, and he gives her a little sunflower card, look like a little sunflower greeting card. You hop out your local Target or something, and he wrote a poem inside of it. And the poem was cute, but I was cracking up because then Nosh interrupts the date with his big return and his light skinned sunglasses. And I'm like, you just gonna come on in and interrupt the date? Like, that was weird. But Kay has Andre get up, who won the date and was there. Miss, I only want a man who's available. Stop the date with the person who won to give the person who didn't even make the perfume and who felt the need to do something else a shot to talk to her, which was a little weird. Uh, I wouldn't have made the person who won the date and committed to be here leave, personally. I get why the brother left. I'm not mad at him for it, but I'm not gonna complain about it, but then let go of the person who's actually here. That's me. How did you feel about that? You're muted.
Once again, K Michelle, your logic in this dating scene does not make sense. What do you want? Because, like Mrs. Best said, you kicked the dude who actually won the day out for the dude who you felt was disingenuous to give a chance to, and you not even feeling him. So it's like her and Delicious needed to be on the show together and let this be the train wreck it's supposed to be.
They're lost
Because I'm telling you, they are literally a deer in headlights. They don't know if the car is gonna hit him or if it's just gonna wait for it to cross the street. I'm just like, I'm just so
It's
confused by
baffling.
it. It's like
It doesn't make sense. We gonna keep it moving, you guys, because I have another live and I have to leave my house also. Uh, Lisa Ray took her dates to a trampoline park. I said, "Go ahead, Auntie, have fun." That's my kind of date. Take me somewhere I could do stuff fun, be active, and not just sit around. I can do that on my own.
that's how I tore my meniscus
Huh?
at a trampoline park. I tore my meniscus at a trampoline park.
Oh Lord,
When I
I
was
grew up
25.
doing gymnastics, ballet professionally, and all of those things. So like stuff like that, especially with gymnastics, when you're a kid and into it, you go to essentially
Like
parks
I
like
was
that.
on a date too. I felt like I was on a date. I was 25. No, I couldn't have been because I didn't date men then. I don't know who I was with. I was with somebody. It was a guy. I know I was with another guy. I just don't remember who it was. And I remember we wasn't in there 10 minutes. We signed a little paper. I did one flip and tore my meniscus.
See, that's why I am glad I was very active younger between ballet, actual gymnastics, playing tennis. Y'all, I done did so many, and I cheerleaded. I'm trying to tell you, they teach you though in those sports the proper and safe ways to fall, so it helps me out. But when I take my husband to those type of parks, every time he leave with something broken or a limp. But so it does help to know how to fall. It really does because that shit hurts. But they have fun on the date. And basically she bases who's gonna win the private date with her by who could survive the wipeout, which for men over 40, I was cracking up because they was all suffering. They was really struggling. And the wipeout is not as hard as they tried to make it seem. But Booker won, and Lisa was noticeably happy about it. And we actually learned a lot about Booker. I started to really like him, and I felt like he was actually good for her. He's originally from Jamaica. He came to Baltimore City when he was 11. He worked really hard. He's also incredibly intelligent, graduated high school at a very young age. He's since opened a restaurant and is successful in that. They do share a kiss, and I do like him for her, but I did not sense enough chemistry between the two uh, as of yet, or enough chemistry for them to like have a substantial, stable relationship. How did you feel about those two?
Sorry for my background, y'all. I really apologize. Um, I felt like even though he it was honest and it was realistically a commendable thing. I kind of felt like it's not enough for the person he's trying to appease at this moment. And that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree. Now, Delicious takes them into an art space. She wants them to paint how they feel when she's around. Okay, Delicious. Chris painted a photo with the ace and the heart. And he did talk about himself a lot. He even put green for envy. I don't think he knew what he was doing there. He failed that. I'm going to just say that. He failed that. Zach's photo was actually pretty. It was beautiful. I just can't see him with Delicious or take them seriously as a couple. But Zach is actually the person who ends up winning the date with her. They don't have chemistry. They don't even have nothing to talk about. I feel like Delicious is the chick that leans on her looks in a relationship versus like actually trying to be comfortable and have stuff to talk about, because she once again brought up the concern about her image as Delicious, the sexy image, and men being insecure about that. She's already talked to Zach, us, the air, Jesus, all his disciples about her image. Don't create an image and then expect people not to expect that from you. It's just annoying. But it comes up that I guess Zach waited to have sex until he got married. Apparently, he did not get married until 26, as we had learned previously. He was a pastor. And now he claims he doesn't know if he could wait the same. I don't believe him. I do think he was a pastor, but I just don't believe he waited till he was married to have sex.
That's funny you said that because I actually do believe it, which is why he comes off so creepy.
Ooh.
I do believe it. And what I'm alleging on this next part is just alleged. It is not for real. I think he's been married more than once.
Probably.
I think he's been married more than once. I feel like with the first wife, whoever she was, I felt like he waited for her. Then when he married the black one, I don't think he waited. I think he definitely got it in at that point, and then married that lady. Which makes me wonder if my theory is true. I wonder what happened to the very first wife, the very first one.
Somebody come on, internet sleuths, get to work.
Right, because I feel like he's been married more than once. I do. He gives me that energy for some reason, and I could be wrong. And I don't care one way or the other because I don't know who he is. He don't know me.
That's why, if they wanted to be different, they should have shown, like, for the contestants that were really, really interested in the ladies, or the ones that would make it from beginning to end the show. They could have shown us like some of their home life.
Yes, I agree.
Because we missing a lot of holes. That's what I'm gonna say. After the ladies go on their dates, they end up going to speak with Holly per usual. Delicious and K Michelle once again did not make sense to me. K Michelle says she feels no romantic connection with Afam, the software engineer that she continues to go out with, who's very handsome, by the way. I love his calm energy also. But she says she doesn't feel a romantic connection, but she continues to ask him on dates and ignores Andre's gesture just to talk. I don't know. I don't understand what K Michelle is doing in general.
It gives me, he showed her what's in his savings account, and that's why she's holding on to him. Because honestly, if the savings account looked right and he's generous, because he's already calm. To me, he gets very calm, and he also gives me attentive. I don't know why I look at him, and I think he's very attentive.
He seems that way.
He seems that way. That's why I was like, okay, you attentive, you's calm, you don't say much, and then you may have a great savings account. I may keep you around just because of the promise of that. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the person she ends up with. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, opposites attract, and K Michelle is the entire opposite of his calm demeanor. So it could work that you could be on to something. Now they move on to discuss the men who were not asked on a date. In this situation, they start with David, the guy with the tired waves and the hairline balded from the inside out. You could tell he went and got that little beauty supply brush that the men be buying and just brushed his hair forward. He probably has a do-rag or a wave cap in every color. That's what he gives. But Wisdom is also the one that nobody else went on the date with. He did that flip and waved his titties around, and he gave a little bit gay, and that's okay. Come out the closet. We'll accept you. Now, we get to the dinner party where they're actually mingling, and this is where David instantly starts to chat with Lisa Ray. But I'm going to sidetrack y'all for a second, and I want y'all to bear with me. He was wearing a blue tracksuit in his confessional, and it bothered me. It bothered me, that blue tracksuit. It just did. And then he was just slouching in that seat in the confessional. It drove me crazy. I don't see it for David personally. But he talks about his upbringing and how he used to go to the store to sell now and later's that he could sell at school in order to buy lunch. And now he's an engineer. He sounds like a hard worker. I feel like he really did come up from nothing. But listen, I feel like everybody got that damn story. You went to the store to buy now and later's.
Right.
To sell them to get lunch. But school lunch at the time he was in school.
Yeah, it was free.
Come on now.
Yeah, like, especially if you didn't have nothing, your mama could easily go to the school district, fill out a little form. You get free lunch. And I'm telling you, you got the good shit. You didn't get the, cheap shit that they usually give. You got some good stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that story. But at the same time, it could have provided structure for him to become an engineer, because we went to school with kids who sold candy for money and stuff like that. And all ended up becoming, well, for the most part, there was one or two that didn't, but all for the most part ended up with really good jobs after high school. So,
Yeah, that's true. It's very true. But yeah, I don't know. Something about it felt off. But we're gonna come back to him because we got no choice. Now, Chris and Delicious talk. He comments on not liking to lose because he didn't win the date. And he did seem more upset about losing than he did to not get a date with her. I think he just want to hit, personally. That's what it gives. I'm not mad at him for it because the way she acting like a dingbat on this show. That's my personal opinion. But she seems uninterested in him, and she pretty much moves on to Wisdom pretty quick to talk to him, which was strange. And we're talking to Wisdom. Wisdom explains that he's recently divorced and was in a sexless marriage. Now, he said that he was in a sexless marriage, but then he also explained, because she was like, talk to me about that. Valentine's Day, they had sex. It sounds like every federal holiday they had sex. It also sounds like birthdays, anniversaries, they had sex. It sounds like they were having sex. That is not a sexless marriage. When he said
I was just going to say, like, if you was having sex every holiday, anniversaries, and birthdays, that's called marriage.
We know there's at least 14 federal holidays.
Yeah, sometimes you go with, look, listen to me. Sometimes, man, y'all have to understand, life be life. You go to work, and if you have kids, it's worse. You got to get the kids, or you got to make sure they do their homework, and you got to make sure, those holidays you have the day off. So what else we gonna do? The kids over there watching cartoons. Let's hurry up and get a good half hour in, and then there you go. It's like, it's really simple when you break it down. I think you're just hypersexualized, and you just wanted her just to be available, and it's not always the case.
He seems like one of the men.
I don't understand that.
He seems like one of those men who views being married as I got pussy on call whenever I want it. That's what he gave.
So I'm like, well, then, sir, you need to get off the show and just be single.
Now, for me, I'm going to keep it real, though, at the same time, because I don't want to be a hypocrite. That schedule would not work for me. You better be bringing your man part, the one-eyed monster, better be winking at me more than just them holidays and stuff. I feel like it should be fun, spur of the moment, all of those things. But every married couple is different. But for him to have explained how long he was married and there's children involved and stuff, when there's kids, they teach us in psychology. Oh, y'all, I'm excited. I'm starting graduate school to cover LMFT too in January, but they teach you in psychology. Children complicate and make relationships harder in every way. Has nothing to do with being married or any of that. Having kids with somebody makes it that much harder to be in a relationship. So, what's good, Miss AKA? You're so sweet.
But my thing, you make a great point, but like, I just feel like, to me, I don't know. I feel like I get that needs to be a healthy part of the relationship, but what defines healthy at the end of the day? I could see if you went a whole year it didn't have sex. I could see that. I'd be like, okay, yeah, wife, you got some explaining to do because that's a lot. But if
He's selfish.
yeah, I think he is. I just think he's selfish, and I just feel like to me that's asking a lot. Like, you
Yeah.
know, I just feel like get it when you can. Like, you know.
In this situation, though, Delicious says she feels like he's too comfortable letting things go. And I was like, you know what? She said things and people. I agree. Because he also explained that he's done the same thing with some jobs, with some friends. Like he has
Mhm.
done this. So that is a concern. I don't think you should just throw people away because something happens. There's a friend, a mutual friend of me and James for many years. And James will tell you that girl will get on my nerves. I'll text him like, I can't do it no more. I'm not going out with her no more. I'm not kicking it no more. But I'm not just gonna excuse someone from my life because they get my nerves in a moment, or I'm not getting wholly what I want. I think that wisdom doesn't. I think he lacks wisdom. That's what I will say.
Yeah, the irony of that being his name when
Yeah.
you have a very lack thereof, or at least a lack thereof understanding, because that's a pointed of wisdom. And I just feel like to me, I just feel like that. I think that's how he baits women. I really do. Something about him saying, "My name is Wisdom," and women just get enthralled with that because you think people could live up to the expectation of their
Yep. And then he
name. And
doesn't
it's
tell me
like,
what the
no.
why.
And then when you get in the relationship, you realize they're the complete opposite of wisdom, and you're like, "Well, then, damn, you sure did hoodwink me. What the hell?"
That's probably exactly what's happening. Is the thing. That's probably exactly what's happening. All right, y'all. So Kay Michelle talks to with Afam and mentions that they just feel like friends and it's not progressing. And she's asking him, will there be a connection in the future? How are you supposed to answer that, Kay? How are you supposed to know the future? You just met, you trying to get to know each other, and then you're doing it where he's competing with other men.
Right. It was like, why don't you ask him, like, is there anything that I can do? Because I really like you. I'm feeling you. I feel there's something more, but I want to bring you up out of your shell. What can we do to make you feel more comfortable? Because there's something about you that I'm really liking.
Right.
All you have to do, just talk to
Show
the man.
that you care about
But
somebody outside yourself. That's
right.
important.
But asking him, do you see a future? Hell, I don't know. I'm competing with men right now. My assumption is to get through this competition and hopefully woo you. Not that me not understand that there's a future, because what if we get together and I don't like your ass after we get out of this show? Like,
And he told her, and I felt so bad for him. He's like, in his confessional and to her, he essentially says it takes him a while to warm up to people. Which James says he thinks that K Michelle may end up with the Fom in the end because they are so opposite. He is calm. And people that are extroverted like Kay and see people all over the world like Kay, I know you have some type of discernment to know like it's gonna take him a while. He got cameras in his face, he's not comfortable. But we get to the elimination. Lisa starts with David and invites him to stay. Stressed me out, but I had a feeling after he told his little sad story about the now laters that he did not really buy. If you got the money for them now laters, you could have bought school. I'm just saying. But uh she keeps David, which is fine. In terms of age and space in life and how they move, I do feel like that may work. Delicious addresses wisdom and tells him he ain't her king. Thank you, Jesus. It seems like Delicious is the one doing a lot of the actual eliminations too. And K Michelle decides to keep a farm, which I think is fair. I think was also smart. You have to give people time to meet you halfway at the very least. So I'm glad a farm is staying. And Delicious sent home the asshole Chris. So Chris and Wisdom were eliminated. And in the next episode, we're going to get the final four men. How do you feel about who was eliminated, James Jackson?
I was fine with that decision, and I knew from the beginning, as I told you, I knew Kim Show was going to keep her from. I knew she was. Like, I just knew. I'm telling you, he showed her that his savings portfolio. That man is set for life.
He
I'm
showed her
telling
the
you.
Roth IRA.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he showed her all the IRAs and 401ks and a rainy day fund just in case he loses his job. Or hell, he probably built the whole damn company and they owe him. So it's kind of like he gives me that energy. I don't know why he does, but he gives me that energy, and I feel like that's why she keep him around. She don't mind him being quiet. She don't mind him not opening nothing. She
Especially
don't mind him.
if he's a software engineer in
Oh, he has.
California, specifically here in the Bay Area. he's making probably more than her. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, he absolutely. I know that. What part of California was he in? Because I didn't remember.
I don't remember.
I think he ain't in the Bay.
He might be. If he
is, San Francisco. I think I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it. I think he's from San Francisco. If he is, even if he's in LA, man, that man is making millions a year. Yeah. He's making millions a year. Sorry, and I wasn't listening to him either because he's quiet. He don't bother. He always got his eye on her. Like if y'all notice, like we'll go back and watch the episode. He's always his attention span towards her is amazing because he never takes his eye off of her. So I'm just like, yeah.
It's sad. I don't know.
That's the one she picking. I know.
I hope it works out with them because I like the farm. But that's all we got this episode. Wisdom and Chris went home. I think Chris, it was time. His mouth is wide. It reminds me of the caricatures they draw when you look like a toon. And Wisdom making them titties move, and then the crap with the sexless marriage and all of that was too much. So we will continue to recap Queen's Court. Friendly updates. I'm doing the best I can, y'all. I work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. By the time I do get home, because I take a ferry boat, it sometimes it's a few hours later, and it's hard to recap at night. So I will do my best to continue getting them to you on time. Love and Hip Hop Miami will be back on the channel November 18th, so we'll be recapping it on the 19th, the day after. Beverly Hills, the trailer just dropped. It looks okay. I was like, and Love During Lockup, for those who watch the WeTV series that I recap, is also coming back in December. So lots of shows will be coming back through the winter, so we're going to be good through the holidays. Be sure to subscribe to James's channel. The link is in the description. Buy his book. It's on Amazon. Support him. Support Black authors. But other than that, we're going to head on over to do our recap of the finale of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And I appreciate all you beautiful people. And we'll see y'all next week. Adios.